some sick guitar licks? Then watch this video. What's up, everyone? My name is Jay Tarantino from the band Etherius. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm breaking down 3-string arpeggios. Last lesson I was going over some 2-string arpeggios, how to play them with alternate picking, how to play them with sweep picking. Today we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to be covering 3-string arpeggios. I will also be using some examples from a couple of Etherius solos to show you how I incorporate these arpeggios into my own playing. If you would like to check out the Etherius catalog, including our brand new album, Hymns of the Crimson Raven, I will leave a link in the description box below. I also have a Patreon if you're interested. If you like the tabs for this, downloadable Guitar Pro tabs and the backing track, again, check out the Patreon. I have a link in the description box. So like I was saying before, last lesson we did 2-string arpeggios. Today we're going to cover 3-string arpeggios. I'm going to show you how to alternate pick them and sweep pick them, and we'll kind of compare the difference in sound between the two of them. So today I'm focusing on 3 shapes. And the 3 main shapes, the most common shapes, and we're going to be using B minor is going to be our example, but you can move these arpeggios around to fit any key that you're going to play in. So the first shape we're going to go over is what we call root position, so meaning that the root, which is B in this case, is going to be the lowest note, so it's going to go root, 3rd, 5th in that order. So right there we're doing 4 on the G string, 3 on the B string, and 2 on the E string. And then if you play that an octave higher, it would be... So that would be 16 on the G string, 15 on the B string, and 14 on the E string. The next shape we're going to talk about would be what we call first inversion, meaning that we're just taking the intervals of the chord and we're just moving them over. So instead of doing root, 3rd, 5th, we're doing 3rd, 5th root this time. So the 3rd is going to be the lowest note of the chord. So in this case, we have this shape here. So we're doing on the G, the B, and the E string, we're doing 7, 7, 7, and then 10 on the E string. So it's going to be 3rd, the 3rd, which is D. That's going to be the first note. The second note is F sharp, which is the 5th. And then the 3rd note is going to be B, which is, again, our root. So if you played that an octave higher, it would be 19, 19, 19, 22. The third shape we're going to go over is what we call second inversion, meaning that, again, moving the intervals over. The 5th is going to be the first note of the shape, so it's going to go 5th, root, 3rd. So in this case, we're starting 11th fret on the G string, which is F sharp. Then we're doing the root note B, so 12 on the B string, and then we're doing 10, which is the 3rd, which is D, 10th fret E string. So again, 11, 12, 10, and then we're going to do 14. And I can't play that an octave higher because I don't have enough frets. And like I was talking about with the 2-string arpeggios in the last lesson, we can play these with alternate picking and we can play these with sweep picking, and they each have their own sound. So let's just, as an example, let's just say we made up a sequence that was something like this. Now, obviously, you can play this much faster when you do it with sweep picking, but I do highly recommend that you practice these type of arpeggios with alternate picking, because doing the 1 note per string alternate picking, where you're doing some kind of string crossing, that's really going to help your alternate picking chops when you're doing, 2 note per string, 3 note per string scales, where you got to play real fast. So when we do these arpeggios, again, we're just doing alternate picking. So we're starting with the first note, we're just going to go down, and then we're just going to go up, down, up, down, up. So just following that, we're doing down, up, 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 down, up. And then we go to the next arpeggio, we're going to do the same thing. And then the same thing again. And again, when we play these arpeggios, we don't want the notes ringing together. We want to make sure that each note is very staccato, and that as soon as we play the first note and we go to the next note, that means we've lifted up our finger off the first note so the notes don't ring together. So we don't want... we don't want to do that. We want... So you're essentially, with that first arpeggio, you're rolling your fingers. the same thing when we do the major arpeggio. Even when you add that higher note with your pinky, we're still rolling our fingers, so again, we don't want the notes ringing together. And now when we sweep this, we're just going down, 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 up. And it's the same concept. We want our fingers to kind of roll. We don't want that sound. And so here's what it would sound like with sweep picking. So now the other thing we can do to make these arpeggios a little more staccato and also a little more clean is we can, again, like I talked about with the 2-string arpeggios, we can mute with the bottom here of our right hand. Again, we're right above the saddle, and we're just gonna lightly, you know, depending on if you want a more percussive sound or you want the notes to ring out a little bit more. And here's what it would sound like with no muting at all. And here it is with light muting. So we take all those ideas, you know, the muting, the sweep picking, and the chord shapes, the arpeggio shapes, we can come up with another kind of sequence that is a little more, there's a little more movement involved, sort of an Yngwie Malmsteen kind of thing. This is something that he might play. So now we can take those same shapes and we can do something like this. So again, in that example, I'm doing everything I was just talking about. So I'm rolling my fingers and I'm lightly muting the strings and I'm doing the sweep picking down, 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 up, down, 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 up. So again, slow. Now that we've discussed the mechanics of playing and using 3-string arpeggios, I'm going to show you a couple of etherius solos as examples. The first one is being from a track called The Omnipotent from our album Chaos Order Renewal. And the second example is from a song called The Inevitable End from our first album, Thread of Life.